Back in the 1980s, we had a TV show called Cheers. It all took place at a bar, but it was a place where people could go to unwind and relax. The opening song to the show posed the question about how nice it would be to get away from all your worries and hang out at a place where everybody knew who you were. For gamers, geeks, nerds like me, a convention is a great place to get away. And today, we're chatting with Joel, one of the key folks at the White River FanCon that's going to be held in Batesville, Arkansas on March 7th, 8th, and 9th. It's just a couple of weeks away. Joel, welcome to the show.
Brian, I'm so excited to be here. We've touched base for quite a while, and I'm really excited to finally be a part of this.
Yeah.
I do have a guest with me too. My son Tyson is with us as well.
Hello.
Hi, Tyson. So one of the questions I wanted to ask right off the bat,
Sure.
last year was technically the first year, but of the FanCon, but it actually goes back even further than last year, does it not?
Yes. Originally, there was a team trying to put a con together, and I think they actually just called it the Batesville Comic-Con in the very beginning.
Right.
But Jessica Seat, she is a teacher at, I should say Dr. Jessica Seat. She just got her PhD. She is actually a high school teacher at Batesville High School. She had some of her kids approach her, and then therefore she went and approached the library with the idea, and they tried to make it happen. But that was right around the time of COVID, and some things happened, and unfortunately they weren't able to get that first con off.
So how did you get involved, and what was the stuff? It's kind of a two-part question. Yeah. So how did you get involved, and then what was kind of the catalyst that really made it take off last year?
Well, I think what was kind of interesting, I've had some friends of mine have constantly been telling me that we could do a con in Batesville, we could do a con in Batesville, but I've been kind of the negative Nancy about it. I was like, nah, we don't have the population, we don't have the right setup for it, until the librarian, Carly Morrison, she actually contacted me and said, "We're trying to reorganize this. I know you've got experience setting up events. Would you mind being a part of this?" And at that time, we had started taking my son Tyson. We had started going to cons. So we had just been to Arkansas Comic-Con, and it was something, as much as I'm a nerd, I had not gone to very many cons. And for the life of me, after we've started going to all these different cons, I'm like, why have I not been doing this? This is great.
It's pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah. But she asked me to come and join, and I said, okay, well, give me a second. Let me think about it. And I started kind of doing my own internal punching numbers and stuff. And I was like, you know what, this might actually be doable. So showed up to the meeting right off the gate. It was me and Tommy Hancock were both selected as co-chairs. Tommy has recently stepped off. He moved to New Orleans. So now I'm the sole chair of the committee. So, but it turned out really great. It was just one of those things in this fit of fury of trying to figure out how to make it happen, putting our guests together and trying to, figure out what works, especially when we're covering a lot of different topics.
Right.
Most cons get very specific. We want a little bit of everything, so everybody's got something they can enjoy.
Yeah. And I mean, speaking of guests, I mean, you've got you've got a really good panel of guests. You had some great guests last year, but this year you've got, now I'm trying to find it here.
I got you. Well, first of all, we kind of changed it up a little bit. We've tried to do specific guests for each topic. This year, we do have a wrestling guest of honor, which is going to be Greg the Hammer Valentine, who is a WWE Hall of Famer and also a Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer. And he, some of you may actually not know that name, but I implore you, go look up some of his old matches, and you start to realize very quickly how many different wrestlers get that idea from him. Yeah, there he is right there.
Yeah.
Get their ideas from him. Ric Flair took a lot from him. His finisher was actually the figure 4 leg lock too. Just really, really impressive. And actually, he's one of the few people I've watched and this dude could actually hurt me.
Well, I mean, he's old school.
Yes. That's what makes him so interesting to me.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can only imagine some of the stories he's going to be able to, share with everybody.
Yeah. So we're excited to have him. He was actually a last minute addition because we had, unfortunately, at first we tried to get Jerry the King Lawler out of Memphis, but Jerry had he had a conflict. It's just the way it is in cons.
Sure,
but we're really grateful for Greg to step up the way he did. So he's going to be there on Saturday only, but make sure you come and see him on Saturday.
Yeah. That'll be awesome.
The second
Um,
one we have for our film guest of honor, of course, is do you remember who the film guest of honor is, Tyson?
Oh, I can't remember his full name. It was like Randall.
Randall Reeder.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He was in Deadpool 1, 2, and Deadpool and Wolverine.
Exactly. He was in Deadpool 1, 2, and Deadpool Wolverine.
And Idiocracy.
Yes, he was. Well done, son. So Randall is actually nerd royalty in a sense because he's been in Sin City, Harold and Kumar, tons of these different little movies. I implore you guys, go check out his IMDb. You'll be very impressed. And I've got a little bit of secret backup lore on Randall himself. So once upon a time, I was in the film industry, right?
yes, you were.
Yeah. So I actually was his double on W.
Okay.
So Randall and I both can say that we were directed by Oliver Stone. So there we are.
There you go. I mean, hey, that's some laurels to tout.
Yeah. But it was really kind of cool. The fact I had wanted Randall in the very beginning when we first started because I knew he was involved in so much different stuff, especially with Deadpool and Wolverine. But very excited that he's coming to join us. You're excited about meeting him too, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna get his autograph.
Oh, he's huge, dude. He's also like 6'8".
Yeah, bigger than our next door neighbor, which is taller than you.
What are some of the events that that the guests get to, or the people that are showing up that get to kind of play with and peruse around.
Itself?
Yeah.
So if you buy a ticket for the VIP night, there's going to be fewer events than you would normally see, especially on Saturday.
Right. It's a setup evening. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just a nice event for if you want maybe a smaller crowd, a chance to have a little more intimate talks with the guests and all that. That's your time to go, which those tickets will cost you $50. And that would also get you a full weekend pass as well. But to answer your question about what events are happening, right?
Yeah.
On Saturday, oh man, we have video e-game tournaments. We've got Smash Brothers. I think they're also looking at a Fortnite battle also for tournaments for people to play. We have different board games going on. We have Dungeons and Dragons, multiple different sessions for that. We have a Magic the Gathering tournament. We have a Pokemon tournament. We have Warhammer 500. We've got Legos. In fact, we have a new competition for this year. We're going to start to make this an annual thing, which is Super Sammy's Lego Derby, where you get to show up and we give you a base that's a Pinewood Derby base, but it's made that you can put Legos on it. So kids, if you are under 16, you can enter into this contest and build your own Lego Pinewood Derby car and race it.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Wait, and don't forget,
yes,
one of our friends is going to be running a D&D.
Yes, we actually have a young man that's going to be joining us. Him and his dad both are going to be running the D&D campaigns. Nice. But one of Tyson's friends is going to do it just for kids.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
So I think that's an awesome thing to kind of show, look, kids, these are all these things that you can do. Yeah, you can do D&D. You can be a DM. There's no problem with that.
Yeah.
The world.
One of the things I think that's really kind of cool. So, I mean, this convention is not tiny by any means. It's not huge. I mean, it's not Gen Con, but it's not small. And I really like the price points. I'm going to share this with everybody too, so they can take a look at it. The hello, computer.
Hello, computer.
Okay, a little bit of technical difficulty here on my side. Here we go.
That happens. Don't worry about it.
I'll figure out how this internet thing works someday, guys. What I'm most impressed about is, so you did mention the VIP ticket. That's $50. That gets you in early on Friday night to kind of mingle with the people that are setting up. But for the size of the convention, I mean, guys, you're talking, $20 to get in for the day, $20 for Sunday. If you wanted to get in on Saturday and Sunday, it's $30, and kids that are 6 and under are free with a paying adult. And that's kind of unheard of in the convention realm for tickets to be that, I don't want to say cheap, but that inexpensive.
Affordable is the word you're looking for.
That's the word yes. Thank you.
Here's the reason we do it that way. If you don't mind me jumping in real fast.
Yeah, no, run with it. Yeah, run.
Yeah. So the reason we do it that way, this is a little bit different from all conventions anyway. This is actually a total fundraiser. Everything we're doing is to raise funds for the Independence County Library so they can continue their mission and help the citizens of Independence County. Right. So yes, we have, sure, it's still $20 for a day or $30 for the full weekend, or if you want to get the VIP and experience everything, it's $50. But all those funds are going to go directly back into the library. And our whole entire purpose is to create something that everybody can come and enjoy.
Right. And there is a lot to enjoy. I mean, you've
Yeah.
got multiple levels.
Yes.
And again, this is all taking place in the library itself, but
In the
you've got
library
multiple
itself, there's
levels.
3
You've
different levels.
got,
Yeah.
yeah, you've got games happening on one level. Like you said, you've got esports happening.
Mhm.
There's going to be D&D. I'm sure there's going to be people playing Magic the Gathering, Pokemon,
Yes.
all that kind of fun stuff.
All
You've
those
got
we have tournaments for.
vendors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've got vendors up there on that top level. And
Yes.
I think last year, didn't you have a few vendors on that lower level as well?
We had some of the different organizations, like
Yeah,
your
that's
fan
right.
organizations, such as like the 501st. I don't think the 501st are going to make it this year, but we have like the USS Geode, the Star Trek, the
Mhm.
Ghostbusters, different cosplay groups.
Oh, yeah,
You forgot about them, didn't you? Yeah, they were here.
Yeah.
But they can all be downstairs. So as soon as you walk into the con, you get to see these guys and see all they have. What we're doing a little bit different this year too, if you want to enter in the cosplay competition, which of course is all of our, dress up as your favorite characters and such, we're
Right.
going to have that contest as well. And judging is going to go through all out the entire day. All you have to do is swing by the judges tables, which is directly there on the bottom floor too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've got we've got a guy in chat. Big Die, 1976. So this is a guy that, gosh, he and I go back probably to the 1990s. And this is one of my buddies from Memphis from years upon years ago. Wayne, if you're there, I mean, if you've got the ability to get up here, come on up, man. I'm going to be there throughout the weekend too, just kind of wandering around and canoodling with folks. So,
yeah, to answer your question too, Big Die, they definitely have a Ghostbusters role play up there too. Oh, you need a role play for it. I bet we could work it out.
yeah. Yeah, let's see. I know that there's another buddy of mine in Memphis that is part of a Ghostbusters team, and we had Ghostbusters there last year.
Yes. The Central Arkansas Ghostbusters.
Yeah, Central Arkansas Ghostbusters. That's right. Do you know if they're going to be there this year?
I haven't heard back from them yet, but we're still kind of reaching out to some people as we're getting close to crunch time. There's some people I double check on, making sure to see if they're going to be there or not.
Yeah.
And to Seraphis, the Down Under Space Pirate, I want to say yes, you're absolutely right. He was tiny at the bar in Deadpool. Yes, he was in all 3 movies.
Yeah, Seraphis is a buddy of mine from Australia, so I doubt he'll be able to make it, but you never know.
You know what? Stranger things have happened.
Exactly. So what is one of the I don't want you to play favorites. I'm not going to ask that, but I do have to ask play favorites. What is one of the biggest things that you're looking forward to at this year's specific convention?
At this year, man, I really don't know. I am excited for the Super Sammy's Lego Derby because I just think that's something interesting and unique that everybody's going to enjoy. I'm excited to hear one of our other guests that we have, which is our voice actor, is Jason Douglas. All right. Now he's the voice of, and I'm going to say this now, if I believe it's Beerus, which is the cat guy in a Dragon Ball Z, right?
Right.
Thank you. See, I'm not.
Yeah,
forgive me.
I know that.
You know that, Tyson. Yes. It's like, but I'm not a huge Dragon Ball Z guys. Y'all bear with me on that. I just know it's like he's awesome, but he's also in Sin City. So Randall was also in Sin City. So we're gonna try to do a panel with them talking about the impact of Sin City. So I think that's going to be kind of fascinating to see them do.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, there he is right there. Tons of voiceover, but he's also massive, like different live actions he did. He was one of the characters in Attack on Titan.
Yeah,
also.
I'm starting to fanboy right now.
Yeah. Did you not see this all? We talked about this.
No, I didn't see specifically.
Now, one of the other, other things I really wanted to get to, because I want to give everybody, all their props. Even though last year you were co-founder, now you're chair, you've kind of now kind of become full chair. But it's not just you. You've got a whole
Oh,
team of folks working on this with you, right?
absolutely not. I'll tell you right now, if it was just me, we would not be having a con. I have an amazing team. I think the White River FanCon committee is a very strong committee. We have people that are in charge of Jessica Seed, who I mentioned earlier. She's actually in charge of all of our ticket sales, making sure all that gets taken care of. I have a
Mhm.
guy that's working our VIP bags from Lyon College, Wesley,
Mhm.
Professor Wesley from
Yeah.
Lyon College.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's actually taking care of all the goodie bags. I have got Luke. What is Luke's last name? But he's actually the e-games coordinator,
Esports,
both
yeah.
esports, both at Lyon College and also at Batesville High School. And he's taking care, Luke Johnson, that's his name.
Sure. Yeah.
And he's taking care of all of our esports. And then I've got, I just have to look up the names real fast just to see like all of my people because I definitely want to give them all a shout out.
Yeah, I mean, it is a big list. I remember walking by one evening, me and
Yeah,
the
yeah. I
family
saw
were
you that
yeah,
night.
yeah.
Yeah,
We were going out to eat, and I walked by and I saw just like a room of like 20 people, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh.
absolutely.
Oh, I know what that is. He must be
It
having,
hits you and you're
they
like,
must be having a
hey.
meeting about FanCon."
Absolutely. We do also have newcomers this year who had experience from cons before. Anne Marie Lance is actually going to be in charge of all of our vendors, and she's had experiences for cons for quite a while. Desiree Shaw is in charge of our cosplay, and she's done a lot of different cosplay all throughout her career, and she has a lot of experience. Yeah, see, that's right, Seraphis. You do remember Jason.
Mhm.
That's awesome, man. He was in Bubblegum Crisis. We also have Billy Horton, who is in charge of our board games. Brian Ingerman is in charge of our programming. And again, he and Anne Marie, they came in together and they both have tons of experience with this. Of course, Sloan Lott with the library, they're here to manage everything.
Right.
Maggie Tipton Smart, who is also a part of Main Street Batesville, she's helping us making sure we have the food that we can feed all of our volunteers and all of our guests. David Branscombe takes care of all of our websites. Ashley Keck Johnson and Marshall Johnson are there to help as well. They give their feedback on what we need to do, and he's even try to help us with some medical aid while we're there. Man, there's just so much. Kit Horton also works at the library. She's going to be there taking photos. Carlene, of course, who is the librarian, she's with us as well. Will Crawford is in charge of our volunteers. Justin Lamans is in charge of our retro games. So, oh my gosh, man, you
Oh,
got me
that
looking at
was
all this
yeah, I
stuff.
remember that from last year. That was really cool. So
Yes. Oh,
Justin is he's bringing in, gosh, if you can think of a console, it'll probably be there. I mean,
yes.
I think the only one that I didn't see last year was a ColecoVision.
That's the one thing we were trying to do this year. He was trying to get a bunch of retro TVs
Yeah. Oh
so we could
wow.
use some of the games on. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that we
Wow.
were asking, it's like, what do you mean retro? It's like he needs tubes. We need tube TVs. What
We
do we
need
got?
tube TVs. Yeah. We need some, not CRT. We need stuff that's older than that.
Yes, I want to make sure I can play Duck Hunt. Let's do this.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, and then of course, last but certainly not least, we also have Joshua Shaw, who's in charge of our Legos. He is our Lego master. So
Awesome.
I know that was a
Yeah.
big list. Thanks everybody
It,
for listening to that.
it is a big list. I mean, and that's what I mean is, this is something that it really takes a big group of people to pull something like this off. And guys, like I said, I mean, it's not a small convention. It's not, but it's not huge, but it's just got this very unique feel. And
It's fun. It's
Big
very
Guy said
lively.
it
It's
best.
intimate. Yeah.
I popped this up. I'm gonna pop it up again. Just glad that cons are getting back to normal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, we had in Memphis, we had the Mid South Con for a while, and it slowly fizzled out. You've got your larger cons out there, Gen Con and MegaCon and Comic Con and all those that are just so fun to go to. And having
Sure.
something that's happening here locally, that's exciting for me. It's Batesville's a tiny little town. We've got a population of about 11,000 people. Um,
Yeah, and that's actually part of our whole entire mission was
yeah,
yes, is to raise funds for the library, but our goal also, our larger goal is to bring people in from outside
Right.
of Independence County, outside of Batesville, to bring them into Batesville to see, hey, look at all this other stuff we have here in Batesville. Check us all out. Check everything else out for us. Last year we had about, and this is a conservative estimate, but we had about 650 people show up.
Yeah.
About 650 people, paying guests that showed up. This year we're hoping to break over 1,000. So
yeah, I mean, I'll be curious to know what those final numbers are too. But yeah, I mean, it was packed last year. I mean, it was a good turnout, I felt.
Which we're even evolving a little bit this year too. You remember how tight the vendor room was last year?
Yeah.
We're actually going to break out, increase our vendors just a little bit, and in that large space that we had one of our panel rooms, we're actually going to put more vendor tables into.
Oh, cool.
And then we've broken down 2 smaller, more intimate panel rooms to give us just a little more experience with that.
So what I'm hearing is I need to bring more cash with me this year.
Yes, please. We're hoping that we're going to have plenty of vendors to give you something interesting you're looking for. If you're looking for some nerdy thing, if you create stuff. In fact, anybody that's listened to the stream right now, if you have a talent, you've got something that you sell that you would like to try, by all means, check out our website, check out the vendor page, and submit. We would love to have you there. We still got a few spaces open. By all means, like I said, we're still pushing to the very end. We will try our best to get anybody in we can.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a good cause. It's a great convention. And I don't say that lightly. I have been to my fair share of there's like 6 vendors here.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are missing.
Yeah. I've heard some horror stories. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been to some bad conventions. Oh, you didn't put any advertising up for this convention, so only 7 people in the past hour showed up. Okay. I mean, yeah, I've been to some bad ones, but this one is, I don't want to inflate egos too terribly bad.
No.
But it has, last year, it had a very good air of authority. It had a very good sense of professionalism, and it was just fun. It was just flat out fun. And I could tell, I mean, I could tell you were running around, but you took your time and you stopped and you chatted with folks, and I could tell you were having fun too.
It's a blast when it's happening. But yeah, like they even asked me this year, they said, hey, do you want to do the panel with Randall? I know you know him, or even with Greg. And I was like, as much as exciting as that sounds, I can't. I'm going to be too busy. I'm going to be walking around checking on everything else.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're kind of the go-to person to put out any potential fires that could pop up.
Absolutely. Everybody's actually making fun of things with me, because anytime last year when there was a problem, I would send them the gif of Mrs. Doubtfire going, "Help is on the way, dear."
Yeah.
So we got Swords and Stones. Howdy to you.
Yes, Sword and Stone. So this is a buddy that's overseas, and
right on.
Yeah, can't really. It's another one that can't really get to us easily, but
that's it. Tyson,
but that's one of the neat things about going online. You get to meet people all over the place.
Tyson, there's our next idea for a con. All right, we'll just make a ship that's a floating con that goes from place to place to place.
There you go. You could ship out of port down in Florida. Just call it Cruise Con or something.
Yeah, it's Cruise Con. There it is. So bringing everybody to the masses, say, look, it's a long trip, but everybody that stays with us, all right, you could even switch it out where people get on at different ports and stuff. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Let's see. There was one other really cool question that I had to ask.
Yeah.
And it has completely escaped my mind. So I appreciate that answer.
All right, Tyson, what did you really love about last year?
What did I love about last year? I really loved it was kind of a small thing, but I think it was like the night before the con actually kicked off to the public.
Yeah.
Remember that where the 3 voice actors, they played this Like,
Oh,
yeah,
because the 3 voice actors that we had last year also are in an improv group. So it was at the VIP event. They did an improv act for us too. So which was a lot of fun.
yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I missed that one. I was, I don't know, I was floating around all night too, and then all Saturday too. So
It's the way it happens, man. But in all honesty, I'm trying to tell everybody
yeah,
Saturday is going to be the day to be there because that's when all of our events are happening, all of our
yeah,
tournaments, all of our excitement. It's all going to be on that day.
yeah. It should be fun. Um,
Which
well,
we also want to mention the rest of our guests too. Did you have your other question you figured out?
no, I'm actually that's what that's exactly where I was headed was to highlight some of the other guests. So let me
Right on.
I'm just going to scroll through here what we've got.
That's a good idea.
So we've talked about Hammer, the Hammer.
Yep.
We
That's an old one.
haven't.
Ignore that one.
Okay, ignoring.
Yeah, they're not going to be there this year, unfortunately. That's from
Oh,
last year. So there's Z the Mentalist. Now, Z is our entertainer guest of honor, and he's pretty fantastic. He's a close up magician from St. Louis, and he is good. In fact, I've posted a couple of his videos. He sent us a video for the con, and it was so smooth and fast that I had to watch it a couple times just to see what he did.
And he didn't even do any fast movements or anything. It was just
No.
like slow movements.
It was so
perfect.
smooth,
Wow.
so flawless. Like, I'm just like, I don't know how he did it, but it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
that should be entertaining.
Yeah, I'm excited
Then-
for him. I think he's a good choice. The Dark Ozarks podcast, they're based up in Northwest Arkansas. And of
Yeah.
course, obviously, because it's the Ozarks. And they handle all of the weird, sort of macabre stories in the Ozarks itself. So I'm kind of excited to have them here. That was something we had last year. We had a podcast guest, and we wanted to keep that going for this year.
Yeah, that should be fun too. You've got
And of course,
Robin Carroll.
because we are tied with the library, that's part of our mission. We want to make sure we always have an author guest of honor. Robin
Right.
Carroll, who lives here in Arkansas as well, but she is an award-winning author with books such as Bayou Justice and Injustice for All. I'm excited to actually meet her and talk to her a little bit more. I haven't had a chance to read one of her books yet, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Robin. I apologize profusely. I'm working on it.
There's only so much time in the day.
Exactly. Of
And then let's see, we've
course,
talked about
Jason Douglas. We talked about him
Douglas.
right here. Wabi Sabi Cosplay is going to be our cosplay guest for this year. They're also based here in Arkansas, and you should really look up their stuff on social media. They have some amazing cosplays that they do, from just their crafting that they do, from their portrayals. It's really, really impressive stuff.
Yeah. And then that was last year.
But she's actually here. This is our.
Oh.
I'll go back up, and I'll explain it to you. That is
Okay.
actually one of our guests. That is actually not Invisible Angel. Is Desiree, who is our cosplay chair.
Gotcha. Okay.
So she actually is going to be here this year. She can announce everything. Oh, you just searched White River FanCon. That's what I was like. Why is this old stuff popping up? I was like, oh, you just searched.
Yeah,
White
it
River
was.
FanCon.
I went to just to search. I guess I should do it this way.
It's fine either way.
Like I said, one of these days I will figure out how the internet works.
You know, it happens. It's all right. I do want to take a real quick moment. And of course, for the White River FanCon, we couldn't do it without our main sponsors this year, which is Willa Harkey and Batesville Printing.
Mhm.
So thank you to them so much for what they've sponsored and really getting us a really great event to push forward on.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen the posters up around town.
Oh yeah, we've been plastering them everywhere.
Even in Cersei?
We put out as far as in Little Rock, man. I've got posters all the way down in Little Rock that I've posted up. Post them in about every stop that I could find that I look like a lot of people would be at. I try to go in and go ahead and post one up.
If you had to guess, what would you think? This was another question that I had for you. If you
Sure.
had to guess, what would be your best guess estimate of out of town attendees versus in town attendees from last year?
Last year, I'd say 20%.
We're out of town.
We're out of town.
Okay.
600, 20%. So I don't know.
You doing the math on it?
I'm trying.
Okay, that would be if it was 600 and 20%. That's 120.
I was close. I thought 100.
Yeah,
I was close.
And again, these are I do have some numbers from the Chamber of Commerce. Unfortunately, Sloan Lott has those. I'll have to double check with her, but I'm trying to work with them too to hopefully they can give us a little more idea of how many people are there. See, like I love that Sword and Stones loves the D&D cruise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the D&D cruise, and then of course, die. Everyone has to take a boat to get there after last night's storm, and boy, did it come a gully washer.
That is true.
Oh my goodness. If I could afford to bring some of these cool people to my neighborhood, I'd be at every one of these cons. And that's the other thing too, is I know that putting this all together is not a cheap thing.
Yeah.
I know that it's all going for a good cause. And,
Yep.
I mean, books are, it saddens me that the I don't even want to say culture, but the way things work these days, books are all going, to digital.
Yeah,
And
everything's on digital.
it's just so, I don't know, disappointing to me. So, having a library where you can go in and get a tangible book to pick up and read, that is always going to be dear to my heart. Two, the Batesville Library also offers up, they've got a whole section there specifically catered to gamers.
Yes.
This is really cool, guys. You go upstairs and they've got PlayStations, they've got Xboxes, they've got D&D books.
Mhm.
I don't know if they've got any other role-playing games up there, but
They do. They've got a few different ones.
they do have some other games. Okay.
Yeah.
Mainly
I was
D.
going to say that's there's such a variety of different games that kids can go in and play, that adults can go in and play. It's just something that, like I said, this is a good cause. What you guys are doing is above and beyond, and I can't help but wonder if that's going to be one of the key elements that really drives FanCon, White River FanCon specifically, forward in years to come, because that element of greed is not infiltrating it. If you catch what I'm saying there.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. And I think that brings us a large difference between other cons and us. Now, the question I'm trying to figure out is like, how do we maintain this balance and hopefully continue to grow? Well,
Right.
the goal is, as we continue forward, that more businesses in town or more businesses in the state or the area will look at us and realize, hey, this could be something that we get our name about,
Yeah.
and we could get some higher named guests.
Right.
Which, to that being said, I am very happy with all of our guests. We're very excited to have them here, and we definitely we're treating everybody right.
Yeah.
Is the upside for that. But also, by doing it this way too, I kind of want to showcase to other people, Sword and Stones, even for you, it could be possible to find you guys try to figure out how to make a con in your area. I know you said you're up in Canada, but
Yeah.
it's a possibility. I mean, I would have never thought we could have pulled this off in Batesville until I really sat down and started looking at it, and here we are. We're on
Yeah.
year 2. That's exciting.
Yeah, and that's part of the thing or one of the things that really fascinates me, and why, last year I was just always, yakking in your ear, bending your ear about how this was working, because the whole backstage portion of it is so fascinating to me, how a group of people can come together and pull something like this off. It's not a small feat, and we've kind of already spoken about that, but it's a feat that I personally find very respectable, and it's something that I'm going to strive to put out there every opportunity I get, because I have, although I'm not involved in it in any way, I'm an enjoyer of the event, and like I said at the top of this video, or the stream, it's a place where geeks, nerds, and gamers like me can go and feel comfortable, because I'm surrounded by other geeks, nerds, and gamers. And I want that to continue for years to come.
I agree with you entirely. That's what I'm kind of hoping for too. I mean, it's And if you really want, Brian, I mean, I can find you a job if you want to volunteer.
Well, we'll talk about that.
We'll
We
talk
can talk
about it
about that.
later. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I feel
Um,
what you're saying. Also, Sword and Stones. I see, it is possible if you got a really spread out population, that could be difficult. But like you
yeah.
said, you never know.
Yeah. So when did you start? Because I know that in the past you've played D&D. You've told me a little bit about
Oh, God.
some of your gaming that you've done. When did you start like getting into role playing games?
Role playing games was at Boy Scouts. Uh, let me see. I was 11. So I was 11 at Boy Scouts. Buddy Main brought Dungeons and Dragons. Now you got to remember, kids, this is mid 90s,
Yeah.
and and there was still the stigma about D and
It
D
was
from the
evil,
80s. It was evil,
witchcraft.
witchcraft, and all that.
Yep. Yep.
But
Yep.
it was this amazing world. And even then, like I look back at kind of how I used to play games, and I was like, boy, I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't really get into it. But as so ever since then, have I really been involved in Dungeons and Dragons, things like that, different role playing the games. There was Hunter the Reckoning. Did that one as well. I
Oh,
did
wow.
Werewolf the Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did all those games. But it was kind of interesting. The more I started playing and realizing that this is kind of what it's about, it made me love it more and more and more. And of course, there's different editions. D&D goes through an evolutionary phase like it
Sure.
always does. I got to admit, though, I have never been more happy with Dungeons and Dragons than 5e. Like, to
It's
me, that is the one for players, like, especially because I've got an acting background, I've got storytelling and things like that. That's what I really enjoy. This one is made to really flush those characters out, which makes it great.
no. Yeah, it's an addition that has a very wide appeal. Now, granted, there are a few folks out there that can't stand it. I'm not going to begrudge them
Oh,
of
of course
that,
not. Yeah, of course.
but but that's one of the beautiful things about role playing is there are also a lot of other options out there to play as well. And
Tons.
I think that too is one of the key elements to me that I enjoy about going to conventions is
Mhm.
I can get exposed to other games that are out there.
Yes.
And I don't know. I think that like what Di said earlier, he's glad that conventions are getting back to normal, and
Yeah.
I mean that's really the root of it right there. I mean, I remember. I mean, 10 years ago, I don't know, there was something happened, and I really want to say it was maybe even shortly after when 9/11 happened. Um, we just I don't know, conventions just started kind of drying up,
It,
and having them start coming back after COVID, it's I think it's a good thing. I think people really want that interaction with each other.
yeah, I think so too. And I think it's a
Yeah.
way for us to kind of get together again. And it's been kind of a fun journey. Of course, I got Tyson involved
Yeah,
with Dungeons and Dragons, which you mentioned. Today, we actually had our Dads and Dudes D&D, where we've got him and all of his friends. We get them together and we let them
nice.
play role play and stuff like that to figure stuff out. We were actually play testing one of the games we're going to have at the con today.
Yeah, yeah. Sword and Stones is actually the he has developed his own role playing game,
Oh, nice.
and yeah, and it's actually pretty fun. He sends me. I don't want to say I'll beta test, but that's what I'm doing because he's sending me every iteration of it that comes up, and it's neat to see from. And I don't talk about it too much on the channel only because I don't know at what point it's going to be in its final form.
Right.
And so, but what's neat for me, and I was saying earlier that I really enjoy seeing all of the backstage things. So when he sends me this information, it's what's really cool is I got to see it, pretty much from day one. And I've seen every tweak, every iteration, every change that he's made since, and just seeing the evolution of it. Um, I, I I personally think he's got a good solid product,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of chomping at the bit for the guy to get it down to a more finalized form that can be put out there and published and consumed by gamers. But maybe that would be somebody. Hey, that would be a way to get, maybe get Sword Stones down here for the convention next year or the year after that.
Maybe that's the answer. That's what I'm saying. We'll figure out your rates, Sword and Stones. We'll get you down here too to celebrate the games.
Yeah. And hey, I happen to know somebody that works in the print industry that can get you some books printed.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Oh
I
boy.
wonder who that could be.
Yeah.
But no, I think this has been just such a really great journey to be a part of. I'm more than happy to help our community, to help our library continue their message, right?
Yep.
But then just seeing this stuff to bring to kids, and part of my message, I think the best way I can really describe it for people, my real intention in this is our guest that we had last year. We had one guest called, which is our Rising Star Guest of Honor, whose name was Gabriella Graves. She's 18 now, but she was a 17-year-old girl, already had tons of different voiceover roles underneath her belt, including Disney projects.
Wow.
And I pointed her out to people, and somebody said, well, why I was really insistent on getting her as a guest. And we had a whole conversation about it. I said, why do you want her? And I was like, because she can inspire people in our area.
Right.
Kids can see her, hear her story, and realize this is open to me too. I can do this. And that's the message I want more than anything else. Yes, I want us to all come to the con, enjoy our games. We get some flashback of some toys that we remember when we were a child and you never got to get, but you can get it now. I saw a guy was selling the USS Flag, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But I want kids to come to this con, and I want them to see things that, hey, I could do this too.
Yeah, and that is an excellent view to take on it. There's not enough out there for people to look up to. And if you can bring a younger audience in and have them see, these guests that you've got, these guests of honor, and go, well, there's just a regular person like me. I could do that. That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's the goal, man. That's really what I want. I want the next generation to see it and realize just because where you're at doesn't mean you can't reach for the stars.
Right. Exactly. I mean, hey, I'm trying every day. So,
Me too.
You three.
You three. You still got time, Tyson.
Yeah. Well, so I think we've said it all. Again, guys, this White River FanCon is taking place in about 2 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. See, one day I'll figure out the calendar thing too.
I have to keep an eye on it though, because like I said, we're in crunch time right now.
Yeah, I get it. But it's going to be on the VIP tickets. Those are again $50 a piece. That's going to take place on March
all weekend. I want to make that known. If you get a VIP ticket, you are good for the entire weekend.
Yeah, and that it starts with the VIP ticket that starts on March 7th.
Yes,
and then the $20. Make sure I've got them. Let me just use my crafty internet skills and show this again. I'm a complete professional here.
The best.
So yeah, these are the days that it's going to be. So Friday, March 7th, Saturday, March 8th, and Sunday, March 9th. And again, these are the ticket prices. Yep. So if you're in the area, if you're watching this stream after after it's gone live, it'll be posted. So it's going to stay up for eternity. Just remember, if you're watching it after March 10th, wait till next year to buy tickets.
Yeah, wait till next year to buy tickets, and wait for the guest list too. See all the new people we're going to have.
Yeah. I have one final question. Even though this FanCon is 3 weeks away, are y'all already talking about next year's?
I have to. Yeah. I have to already think about it. And if this goes like we're talking about, and we break over 1,000 people, as much as I'd love to keep it in the library, just because I like that vibe so much.
I know.
If you want it to grow, you got to figure out new locations. So we're kind of scouting new locations. We've already got 3 guests we're kind of talking to about next year that we should be able to take care of. So that's exciting. So, I mean, stay tuned. Like, wait until we finish, come to the con this year, but pretty soon we should be able to have some announcements for next year as well.
Yeah. Well, Joel, it was great talking to you. This is, it's something that I'm passionate about. I know you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of other people passionate about it. So, hey, if I don't see you between now and then, I'll at least see you then.
Man, thanks a lot, Brian. We appreciate you guys. Tyson,
Yeah.
any final thoughts?
Yes, I have two things to say.
All right.
One, my dream guest for the con is Bryce Pappenbrook. For those who don't know, the voice of Eren Yeager.
Yeah.
And Inosuke off of Demon Slayer. Two, am I the only one who's excited for the milk jugs when the date says March 10th and it looks like Mario?
I've done that before, actually. I have a video on my channel that shows me searching for Mario. Yes. I hand to God, I promise you I did that, and I will do that again this year too.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I went looking for Luigi, but all I found was Mario.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Well, guys, it's been fun. We've blathered on for a good 45 minutes now, and I think we'll go ahead and wrap things up.
I think so too. And as always, Brian, we're gonna see you guys at the con.
Good night, everybody.
And remember, folks, until next our paths cross, exactly what Joel said. Hopefully, I'll see